Hey everyone, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, Words of Wisdom Wednesday with Words of Wisdom with Yoda, Words with Yoda. Here we go. All right, are you selfish? Are we selfish? Gosh, we could use semantics because you know that's my favorite thing to do. We could use semantics and talk about word selection, talk about which definition you go by. Right? We could spend time talking about that, or we can talk about what we commonly refer to as the commonly referred to definition of selfishness, which if you look at Webster's dictionary, I like Webster's dictionary until you get to the last half of it, because it starts with, concern for others, except they use the word excessive. And of course, with a dictionary, word selection really matters, right? But they say excessive concern. But if you take away the word excessive, the collegiate definition that Webster's dictionary is going to have is going to talk about concern for yourself. And then at the end of it, though, it says in disregard for others, or in superior concern to yourself than others. But if you disregard that, because there's other dictionaries and there's other definitions of the word selfish, I want us to not care about that specific word and talk more about why is it not okay or perceived to be a bad thing for us to be selfish. Well, if you accept the definition that it means that I care about myself above others, can I just care about myself though? Because I think that there is this negative perception about those of us that actually do care about and do things for ourselves. That we have this inherent shame and blame that we give ourselves when we're doing self-care, when we're taking care of ourselves. You guys, the silliest part of that is an example that happens when we're traveling, right? What do they tell us when we're getting on a plane to do? If in times of crisis, what do? We have to adjust our oxygen mask. We have to put on ours to make sure we're breathing sufficiently before we can then help others with their mask. So even in times of crisis, it's necessary to secure your own airway. Make sure that you're getting your own supply of oxygen before you can in turn. And I know everybody has heard the fill your cup. You have to fill your cup before you can help anybody else, or you can't pour from an empty cup. We hear this stuff all the time, you guys. Constantly. And yet still, for some reason, if we talk about something good that we did, or something we achieved, or some new income we got, we just bought a new house, we just bought a new car, our business is killing it, why are we apologetic to talk about that? I don't want to brag. Everybody all the time. Oh, I don't want to brag. I don't want to seem like I'm bragging. But you don't mind to put yourself down to anybody that will listen. We don't mind to put ourselves down. We don't mind to be like, oh, I really screwed that up. Oh, I'm having a really bad time. Oh, things are going really bad right now. We're not like, sorry for telling you about my bad stuff. Why? We need to flip that upside down. We need to start being apologetic when we're bringing people down, when we're bringing them bad news. Why are we apologizing when we have good things to talk about? Because we're told it's being selfish. Be selfish. Who's going to care more about you than you? Why are we convinced, like brainwashed, utterly convinced that it's like some bad thing if we feel good about ourselves? Bullshit. Throw that out. Brag often. It's not selfish. You're supposed to care if you're doing well. You're supposed to want to spread good news. And if you just got a raise for $10,000 extra a year, tell everyone. If people are not happy for you, they are the problem, not you. Brag. Talk about it to the universe. Talk about it to yourself. Affirm how happy you are about whatever said good thing is that happened. When we are mentally in a space that we believe that it's okay to put ourselves down and to let anybody that will listen hear us bash ourselves, and we don't apologize for that. We don't say, oh, we should though, but we don't say, oh, I know that was all really heavy. I really hate that I had all that negativity to talk about today. But if you have something great to say or something to brag about, you're apologetic. Oh, but I don't want to seem like I'm bragging, or, well, I'm not. Listen, brag. Talk about the good stuff. Apologize when you're talking about the bad stuff. We get more of what we focus on. It's necessary to be selfish sometimes. We need to change our relationship to the way that we feel about some of these things. It's literally backwards, flipped upside down. Flip our status quo upside down. Start feeling apologetic to be sharing your woes and to put yourself down. If you're a personal friend of mine and you put yourself down a lot, I'm probably sure that you have a memory of me telling you to stop talking shit about my girl like that. That's exactly verbatim what I say. Stop talking shit about my girl like that when you guys come to me and you're like, well, I really messed this up and because I'm a loser and I do this bad, and your internal dialogue, putting yourself down and trashing yourself. No, I'm not with it. I don't want to hear you talk shit about my friend like that. Right? Because you don't apologize for doing that. You don't apologize to me for putting yourself down. So why are you apologizing when you have something awesome to say? When you want to tell me about your new job, your business is kicking ass, your kids are winning awards in school, you lost 10 pounds, brag! Tell me about that. Apologize when you put yourself down. Don't apologize when you pump yourself up. It's not selfish. That's not braggadocious. Be braggadocious. Brag. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I showed up every day. I showed up for my team every day. I showed up every day for my Kaizen challenge. I showed up. Talk about that. That's a good thing to talk about. That's spreading encouragement. That's spreading good vibes. That's spreading hope, love, and light. That's what we're here for. Difference makers, hope dealers. That's right. Spread that. Apologize when you have something else going on. When you're not talking about things that you could be bragging about. Apologize then. If you're going to apologize at all. Right? We should flip that upside down. No, it's not selfish. It is true that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So just because you care about yourself and just because you love yourself and just because you value and prioritize yourself does not mean that you're doing it excessively or in advance and in front of others. It means that you recognize that you need to adjust your own oxygen mask. It means that you recognize that you have to be well to be able to in turn pour wellness or turn that around to anybody else. It's not a negative selfish. It doesn't mean that you're doing it in front of everyone else, that you think you're more important. It means that if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else breathe. If your cup is empty, you're not pouring anything. You could be going through the motions. Great if you're a champion at going through the motions. Been there, done that. But that doesn't mean that you're actually succeeding or thriving underneath the motions of the status quo that you're faking it to make it. I'm not talking about what are you capable of faking it to make it or how strong or sustainable is your willpower. I'm talking about underneath that. Are you really pouring anything? No, you're going through the motions because your cup is empty. So stop with the being brainwashed of thinking, especially women have this problem, that you're taking up too much space or it's a negative thing if you're taking care of yourself or if you're adjusting your own freaking oxygen mask before you're helping everybody else with everybody else's. Not only is it okay, here is your sign. If you are a person that seeks external validation, here is your sign. Here's your sign that you have permission. I hereby give you permission to take care of yourself and prioritize yourself, because you know what? We teach other people how to treat us. If we don't value ourselves enough to prioritize our own self-care, then how are we teaching other people to treat us? What are we teaching and showing other people that we will tolerate? If that's what we tolerate from ourselves, what will I accept and tolerate from you? And for my fellow parents out there, what are we teaching our children to accept and tolerate of others? How are we teaching our children to prioritize themselves and their self-care by what they're watching us do for ourselves? So, take care of yourself today is words of wisdom. Words from Yoda today is, think of how can you take care of yourself and how can you be more selfish. My homework today is be more selfish. I want you to be more selfish. Find a way that you can do something for you. No, it's not selfish. Brag more often. Every Friday, I want you to try to think of every Friday at the end of the week, what did I do this week? Give yourself a weekend recap. What's something you can brag about? You showed up for a workout. You ate healthy one day. You called a friend you didn't. You did something hard. Whatever. Brag every week, at least once a week. Publicly even. Do it. Stop thinking that there's something wrong with it. I'm going to get back to posting my Kaizens. And I'll restart back on number 1. That's a personal page thing that I'll talk to you guys here about my Kaizen challenge. But do the thing, man. Brag about the thing. Stop worrying about taking up too much space and is it going to offend somebody or does somebody think you're bragging? Brag! We should be more apologetic and concerned if we're complaining. Bragging is a way better thing. If you're a complainer, maybe then, you know, apologize about the complaining, but not about bragging. Let's brag. You're not selfish. You're caring about yourself. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to care about yourself. It's a good thing to value yourself. It's a good thing to prioritize yourself and ditch anything that tells you or suggests to you any different. My love and light to you guys all. Thank you so much for watching. Share with anyone you think this could benefit. Everything is always public. I love you. Take care. Thank you for watching.